With the Greta Thunberg endorsed toolkit and noise around the arrest of a 21-year-old self-proclaimed environmental activist Disha Ravi, all of this has once again shifted the goalpost in the farm laws debate. This time, the focus is on the environmental aspect. From paid activists to middlemen and to the protesting farmers, the common argument this time is that the involvement of the private sector will further degrade the ecological ecosystem in the countryside. But wait, when we see all of this from an environmental perspective, the new farm laws could have helped contain the damage resulting from the degrading agricultural ecosystem of the state of Punjab. Punjab contributed more than 25% for paddy, 35% for wheat in the central pool in 2018 and 2019. For 2018 and 19, 39.6% of the cropped area in the state was under paddy, 44.9% was under wheat, 5.1% under cotton, and just 3.3% under vegetables, and 1.1% under fruits. The disproportionate and unsustainable focus on wheat and paddy has evolved over a period of time. Until 2000 or 2001, other crops made for 10% of the cropped area in the state. But today, if we see, they make up for only 2.4%. And this has also brought in a culture of elaborate use of fertilizers and pesticides. From 78,000 tons in 1965-66, the use of fertilizers increased to 25.66 million tons by 2010. For pesticides, the usage increased from 154 metric tons in the late 1950s to 88,000 metric tons in the early 2000s. Also, the agricultural yields of cereals, pulses, and oilseeds in Punjab are higher than the national average. And for this, we all must thank to the mindless use of pesticides and fertilizers. What is concerning about the use of fertilizers and pesticides in Punjab is their unbalanced use. Ideally, the ratio of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, also known as N, P, and K, remains 4:2:1. In Punjab in 2017 and 18, it was 28.8:6.9:1. The story of pesticide usage is similar, and this has had a direct impact on the people who live in the region. These trends have resulted in high occurrence of cancer in the villages of Punjab. The groundwater depletion is at an even alarming state in Punjab. In Punjab, groundwater extraction for irrigation exceeds 90%. Of the 138 assessed blocks in Punjab, as per the Dynamic Groundwater Resources Assessment of India 2017 report, 109 are overexploited, 2 are labelled as critical, 5 are labelled as semi-critical, and only 22 are safe. The net groundwater availability in 2025 in Punjab is not even enough to compensate for its domestic requirements. Punjab's obsession with MSP-assured wheat and MSP-assured paddy will not only become impossible in the next 10 to 15 years from now, but rather make water-intensive cultivation almost impossible. And this is where the farm laws could have helped. Firstly, the option of contract farming. Contract farming could have resulted in a shift from wheat and paddy. The opening of markets beyond the APMCs could have ensured the farmers reaching out to corporates outside the boundaries of the state or outside the boundaries of the nation. Another aspect of the ongoing protests is the way the role of private sector has been perceived so far. The entire debate around private sector participation has been either reduced to MSP or pricing or payments. But the potential and opportunities of the private sector in India's agriculture lie beyond all of these. These have a direct impact in improving the ecology of the land. Like, say, farm mechanization and automation can check the use of pesticides and the use of water. Cropping and Bharat Agri are addressing challenges of precision agriculture and farm management in India. DHeart and BigHeart are aiding farmers with better returns by creating a transparent digital price platform. SourceTrace and Frontal Rain are helping in the produce traceability segment. And these all are just a few to be named. With unpredictable shifts in climate every now and then, which can result in the loss of 4 to 5 million metric tons of wheat, untimely rains impacting small farmers, the PSP and investment in climate-resilient technology would go in a long way. Currently contributing 16% to India's GDP, the market potential of India's agri-tech market alone is close to $24 billion. The penetration is less than 1%, as suggested in a recent report by E&Y. And China can help us learn some lessons, as it is leveraging the capabilities of 5G, artificial intelligence, drones, and community-supported agriculture. for the farmers of the state of Punjab, depleting groundwater supply, degraded lands, and diminishing returns on MSP threaten their livelihoods. And the farm laws could have ushered in new opportunities. As implementation of these laws now stands stalled by the Supreme Court of India, the protesting farmers and the middlemen must use this time to realize as to how they are cursing their futures. And for the love of farmers' livelihood and for the love of environment as a whole, Punjab needs these farm laws.